Okay guys, welcome to my first setup in quite a while on Project Cars. I've decided to take the Ginetta Gt3 around Brands Hatch, as the car and track were both in my head from obviously the Ginetta X competition. So the aim was to get this into the low 22s. It didn't take long. There is a lot more, with a bit more practice this setup should be able to take you a 21.7 to 21.8 maybe. So we're going to start the lap, going into the first corner. We're going to look out for the braking point on the left, where we're going to brake just before the black board on the left, going down into fourth gear, holding a nice line on the inside here now and getting on the power nice and early to get maximum exit from the corner. Looking out for the bridge for our braking zone, the shadow there, going down into first gear, trying to keep it nice and tight on the apex and getting on the power nice and early into second gear a little bit before full revs just to stop the car spinning, then back down to third gear for this left hander on the power again nice and early, going into fourth gear. And we're going to look for our braking point on the right now. There, just before the curb, you see the curb on the right. We're going to brake down into second gear and get on the power nice and early coming out of that corner. Then we're going to head our way to the fast right-hander up ahead, where we're going to be going from sixth gear down into fourth gear, as you see now. So we're going into sixth gear and then we're going to go downshift into fourth gear just before the whiteboard on the left, trying to keep it nice and tight in on the inside there. Be careful of the back end as you get back on the power. Then back down to third gear for this corner, it quickly on the power again for into fourth gear, coming out the exit. And we're going to go back down into fourth gear for this right hander. I don't like going in third gear, stay in fourth gear, keeps the car a lot more settled on the power as early as we can. Ran a little bit wide there, we got away with it, into third gear and then power out of this corner into fourth gear. Then briefly into fifth gear and then we're going to go back down to fourth gear for this corner. Again, I don't like going in third gear because it seems to unstabilise the car. Into fourth gear and then we can get on the power nice and early. Nice clean exit and we're over the line for a 1 minute 22.2. So this setup should be able to easily get into a 1 minute 21 when we go through it. So we'll have a little look at the setup, and as you can see there, the lap was not perfect. There was probably at least 4 attempts I could knock off that with a bit more practice. I just quickly went into a lobby after doing a few setup changes and it seemed to work really well. We're going to go through the setup very quickly. One thing I did do straight away to this car was lower the tyre pressures from the default. They're very high as default. Brake pressures I found having them too high seemed to slow me down around Brands Hatch, so I kept them nice. Obviously we're going to be running our vents and all shut for, this is the qualifying setup, so all your vents are shut. Remember to open them up for full race distances. Gear ratio obviously as low as you can on the final drive. You can't really lower the individual gears because they'll just go down to sixth will become fifth, etc. So going into the differential, we lowered the acceleration diff down to 20% just to stabilise that rear, but we also lowered the limited slip just to give us a bit more turning, as we also lowered the bump stop from it was quite high standard, I think it was around 20, we lowered it down to about 13 just to give more stability to the cars. When it was running higher it seemed to be a bit twitchy, so we've lowered them down, stiffened the suspension up, made pretty much all the way through the setup. We've lowered the ride height as well from the default, trying to get the car more stable through the corners, and it seems to be able to take the curbs reasonably well still, as you've seen from that run there. We were quite aggressive on the curbs and we still got away with it. We also knocked the longitude weight bias down by 1 click. Seems to just help out with the stability of the car. So this setup should be good for a race. It should be good for hitting a 121.7 as well in qualifying. I'll leave you guys with a replay from that lap from the TV cameras, and remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more future videos. Thanks again for watching, guys.